You ever notice how no one talks about the grief of losing? Not the loss of money, the loss of yourself. You blow an account and it feels like a funeral no one else shows up to. Your family doesn't get it. Your friends don't get it. They think you're upset about a few numbers on a screen. But you know, it's not the money, it's the meaning. Every loss takes a small piece of who you thought you were. Here's the truth. Traders don't just lose trades. They lose confidence, identity, hope, and because no one talks about it, you grieve in silence. You hide your pain behind strategy videos and motivational quotes. But deep down, you're mourning something very real. Stay with me, because what you're feeling isn't weakness. It's a biological, psychological, and emotional process that even hedge fund managers experience but never admit. And once you understand it, once you see why losing hurts the way it does, you'll stop blaming yourself and start healing like a professional. Because grief isn't the end of your trading journey. It's the part that forges the traders who last. Look, everyone tells you how to win, no one tells you how to lose. But trading, real trading, is a career built on losing well. Every profitable trader you admire is also a professional loser. Not emotionally, but statistically. Here's the hidden paradox. You can't master trading until you learn to grieve. Not resist it, not suppress it, grieve it. Welcome to Disciplined Trades, the channel where amateurs unlearn hype and rebuild the truth. Here, we don't trade signals, we trade psychology. We rewire the brain that moves your mouse. In this video, I'll show you 5 invisible stages of trader grief, the same cycle every human goes through after loss, and how to move through it without self-destruction. These aren't theories, they're pulled from neuroscience, behavioral finance, and the real diaries of traders who've lost everything and come back stronger. Because make no mistake, trading doesn't just test your capital, it tests your soul. And if you can understand this cycle, if you can see your pain for what it really is, you'll unlock something the market can't take from you: emotional resilience. So let me ask you this. What part of yourself have you been mourning since your last big loss? Drop it in the comments. Not for pity, for truth. Because the moment you name it, you start to take your power back. Now let's talk about the grief no one sees. Chapter 1. Denial. It's just a small loss. Every trader's first stage of grief starts with denial. You know that moment when you take a hit and you tell yourself it's fine? You stare at the screen, watching the red number grow, and whisper, "It'll bounce back." That's not logic, that's shock. Neuroscientists call it cognitive dissonance. When reality contradicts our self-image, the brain rejects the data, because admitting the truth that you were wrong hurts more than the actual money. Richard Dennis, the legendary turtle trader, once said, "The market punishes ego faster than it rewards intelligence." In his first major drawdown, he refused to cut a losing soybean position. He wasn't holding out of greed, he was holding out of denial. Because if he sold, it meant he was no longer the genius who turned $1,000 into millions. It meant he was human. We all do this. You check your phone, your charts, your open positions, convincing yourself it's temporary. But denial is just your brain protecting you from pain. The problem is, denial costs money. Every second you avoid the truth, you're paying tuition to the market. The way out isn't courage, it's clarity. The moment you say, "I was wrong," you stop the bleeding. Not just financially, but psychologically. We're not here to avoid pain. We're here to process it. And the first step is facing it. Chapter 2. Anger. How could this happen to me? Once denial cracks, anger erupts. You start blaming the broker, the spread, the fake breakout, the manipulation, because anger feels better than guilt. It gives you control, at least the illusion of it. But here's the twist. Anger in trading is not about the market. It's about identity loss. MIT behavioral economist Andrew Lo discovered that traders experience similar brain scans to athletes after defeat. The limbic system lights up with the same pattern as a physical injury. In other words, your brain thinks losing money is like being punched. No wonder you lash out. But anger blinds you to learning. It shifts focus from process to blame, from curiosity to chaos. It makes you take revenge trades, double down, over-leverage, because your ego is trying to restore its former self-image. Remember Victor Niederhofer? He made $20 million and lost it all twice. Not because he lacked skill, because every time he lost, he couldn't handle the anger. He turned into his own enemy. Here's what professionals do differently. They preempt anger. Paul Tudor Jones once said, "After a big loss, my goal isn't to make it back. My goal is to get back to neutral." He meditates. He walks away because he knows the fire inside is chemical, not strategic. So next time you feel that rage building after a stop out, do this. Stand up, step away, set a timer for 90 seconds. Let biology do its job. The market isn't against you. Your nervous system just hasn't caught up with your screen yet. Chapter 3, Bargaining. If I just tweak the strategy. This is the quiet, dangerous middle. You're not angry anymore. You're negotiating. You tell yourself you'll fix it with one perfect setup. You'll change timeframes, add indicators, tweak risk parameters. This isn't optimization. It's desperation in disguise. After long-term capital management collapsed in 1998, one of the partners said, "We didn't lose because the math was wrong. We lost because we refused to accept randomness." That's bargaining. Trying to turn chaos into certainty through tweaks and adjustments instead of acceptance. Your brain is addicted to control. When control slips away, it bargains. If I increase size, I'll recover. If I switch pairs, I'll find a better opportunity. But trading isn't a negotiation. It's a probability game. The market doesn't care about your deal. Professionals know when bargaining starts, data ends. That's why they automate. That's why they journal. They remove themselves from the deal-making table entirely. Here's your checkpoint. If you're asking what if more than what did I learn, you're bargaining. End the negotiation. Begin the reflection. Chapter 4, Depression. Maybe I'm just not built for this. This is the part no one talks about, because here, the loss becomes personal. You start questioning everything. Your skill, your intelligence, your purpose. And here's where the real danger lies. The market can't destroy you, but hopelessness can. A 2019 study from the Journal of Behavioral Finance found that traders experiencing drawdowns over 30% exhibited clinical signs of depression comparable to bereavement. You're not weak, you're grieving. Every loss feels like a betrayal of effort. You gave time, focus, energy, and got pain in return. That mismatch hurts more than the red numbers ever could. I've coached traders who stopped sleeping, who started hiding trades from their partners, who whispered, "I can't tell anyone how bad it is." Listen, you don't have to pretend. You don't have to fake positivity. Depression after loss isn't failure. It's the mind's attempt to process disappointment too heavy for logic. What helps isn't another course or signal. It's connection, real human conversation with people who've felt it too. Every trader I know who survived this stage had someone, a mentor, a friend, a community, who said, "You're not broken, you're becoming. Pain is a tunnel, not a wall. You don't get rid of it by running faster. You move through it one candle at a time." Chapter 5, Acceptance. This loss taught me something. This is where transformation begins. Acceptance doesn't mean liking the loss. It means seeing it as information, not identity. Mark Douglas, author of Trading in the Zone, said, "When you truly accept the risk, you eliminate the fear." Acceptance is emotional risk management. It's the moment your ego steps aside and your process steps forward. You realize the market was never judging you, it was reflecting you. Your discipline, your impulses, your beliefs. Acceptance is the quiet voice that says, "Yes, I lost, but I learned." When George Soros broke the Bank of England, everyone called him a genius. But what they forget is how many times he cut losses before that moment. His own son said, "My father's strength isn't in being right. It's in admitting when he's wrong faster than anyone else." Acceptance is that, losing fast, learning faster. When you hit this stage, something shifts. You stop fearing loss, you start respecting it. You understand that every red candle is tuition, not tragedy. And from here, grief becomes growth. Climax. Let's bring this home. You know that sinking feeling after a loss, that hollow in your chest, the brain fog, the whisper of, I can't do this anymore? That's grief. And it's trying to teach you something. Not about markets, about meaning. See, every loss in trading mirrors every loss in life. You plan, you hope, you believe, then reality cuts through. It's not cruel, it's corrective. It's the world saying, let go of who you were so you can become who you're supposed to be. The invisible grief of losing isn't weakness, it's the soul's recalibration. You thought trading was about money, it's about identity. You thought you were here to master charts. You're really here to master yourself. The reason pros seem calm isn't because they stopped caring, it's because they've already grieved. They've buried their old selves 100 times and built something stronger each time. Every account you've blown, every night you've stared at the ceiling wondering what went wrong. That was your old version dying. And here's the beauty of it. You're still here. That means you're not done. It means you're evolving. So breathe. You didn't fail. You transformed. Here's what I want you to take away. Losing money hurts because it represents losing meaning. But every loss contains data, direction, and depth if you stay conscious long enough to find it. Denial blinds you. Anger burns you. Bargaining distracts you. Depression weakens you. Acceptance rebuilds you. The trader who survives long enough to accept wins by default. So the next time you lose, don't say, I failed. Say, I'm processing. Because you're not broken, you're grieving. And grief, when handled with awareness, becomes fuel for mastery. If this hit you, if you've ever felt that invisible grief, go to the comments and type one word, processing. Not as confession, but as commitment. Because that word means you're not running from your pain anymore. You're walking through it. And that's what makes you part of the 1%. Not the 1% who make millions, but the 1% who face the truth. If this video helped you see your losses differently, like it, subscribe for deeper psychological dives, and share it with one trader who's silently suffering right now. Next week, we'll go deeper into the discipline spiral, how to rebuild confidence after you've lost everything. Until then, remember, you're not losing. You're learning how to hold loss without losing yourself. That's what separates traders who burn out from traders who rise again. See you in the next one.